Tonight, a commissioner under pressure. Sir Mark Rowley fronts up as the Met Police faces new allegations of racism, misogyny and excessive force against suspects in custody. The police chief calls the claims horrific.
It shows a corrupt group of officers engaging in misogynistic, racist, bragging about use of force, utterly contemptible behaviour that shows a disrespect for the people of London.
Corruption at Charing Cross Police Station was part of the downfall of the last Met Commissioner. We'll have more from the current one on what he's doing about this scandal. Also, this evening, a man attacked by a dog in Canary Wharf says it's time the authorities toughened up the rules. A blue plaque for Winifred Atwell, the capital's queen of the boogie-woogie, and...
You've heard of love thy neighbour, but what about sleep on your roof for thy neighbour? Tonight, I'm meeting an incredible couple who've done just that.
Good evening. It is yet another scandal for the embattled Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. A panorama investigation airing tonight, allegedly showing officers making anti-Muslim comments, using excessive force against suspects in custody and being supportive of the right-wing influencer Tommy Robinson. The allegations have rocked New Scotland Yard with Sir Mark Rowley on damage control. The investigation is horrific, he says, and disrespectful to the people of London. 10 individuals have so far been suspended, part of what he calls the biggest corruption clear-out in the force's history. But as Helen Keenan reports, cutting out the toxic culture in Britain's largest police force is not proving to be easy.
A police station at the centre of allegations of misogyny, racism and use of excessive force. Today, the head of the Met apologised for what he said was reprehensible and unacceptable behaviour of some officers at Charing Cross.
What we hear from Panorama is of racism, it's misogyny, it's bragging about use of force, and it's a contempt and disrespect for the people of London. That is all unacceptable, and people who do those things will leave the organisation, they'll leave it very quickly.
The Independent Office for Police Conduct has launched an inquiry into the claims made in the Panorama programme. 11 current and former officers are under investigation for potential gross misconduct. One constable's also under criminal investigation, accused of perverting the course of justice, with the alleged incidents taking place between August 2024 and January 2025, both on and off duty. Just 3 years ago, Operation Hotton looked into the misconduct of several Met Police officers based at Charing Cross Police Station surrounding racism and sexism.
What this actually says about Charing Cross is that in 2022, the Metropolitan Police had an opportunity to put this right, and it would appear that now we're in 2025, what has actually been happening, what have the leadership been doing, who's been managing it, and how have they been monitoring the progress and actually dealing with the recommendations and the learning from the previous IOPC reports that came out. And it would appear that they just haven't moved forward at all.
The separate earlier allegations led the former Met Commissioner Dame Cressida Dick to leave her job after the watchdog found officers had exchanged highly offensive messages. At the time, London Mayor Sadiq Khan had said he could no longer support her. Today, he praised Sir Mark Rowley's bold action.
He's making sure that the message is sent loud and clear. The police is no place for anybody with racist, sexist, homophobic attitudes. At the same time, over the last 3 years, I've seen that he's removed more than 1,400 officers from the police service. But we don't turn around the police service overnight.
The Metropolitan Police Federation said any officer facing allegations has a right to due process rather than trial by documentary, senior officers or politicians.
So, Helen, clearly so much to do, but what are the first steps the police are taking in this investigation?
Well, the Met Police Commissioner has said within 48 hours of these allegations being received, 9 officers and 1 staff member had been suspended, with 2 more officers removed from frontline duties. They've also disbanded the custody team at Charing Cross, made changes to local leadership and looked into detention teams across the Met. Now, Sir Mark Rowley has vowed to restore the Met's public image. He's been forced to cancel some scheduled engagements for tomorrow in order to deal with the expected fallout from the revelations. His position is not believed to be in danger, though Sir Sadiq Khan is satisfied with his handling of the allegations. But look, it's a big 24 hours ahead.
It certainly is. OK, more to come, I think. But for now, Helen, thank you. Well, also on the Mayor's mind, no doubt, will be the struggle his party is having on a national scale and the impact that could have at the ballot box. If by-elections are anything to go by, next May looks like it could be a bloodbath for Labour. The reform surge, the rehabilitation of the Lib Dems plus swings to the Greens, if replicated exactly, could spell disaster in 2026. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has been assessing the mood at the party conference in Liverpool.
Ryan Jude knows what is meant by every vote counts. When he was elected to Westminster Council in 2022, he beat his Conservative opponent by just 2 votes. That almost certainly makes his seat in Lancaster Gate the most marginal in Britain. But at the next election in May, Labour faces a new challenger, Reform UK.
We've never had Reform running in Westminster, and I think personally that they're going to take votes away from all sorts of different voting constituents, but the Conservatives, I think, should be very concerned in the city of Westminster with the Reform candidates that are going to be running.
Labour's victory in Westminster in 2022 ended almost 60 years of Conservative control. But the leader is under no illusion about the challenge the party faces at the next election in 2026.
How tight is the race in Westminster?
In Westminster, it's always going to be a tough election. We're not taking anything for granted. We feel we've got a strong local record. We're dealing with a Conservative Party that's in possibly terminal decline across the UK. And we are very proud of what we've been able to do locally.
Many Labour councillors in London were looking to the Prime Minister's speech in Liverpool yesterday for some sign that the party's slide in the opinion polls can be reversed. Last time the boroughs were fought over, Labour strengthened its hold on London, winning 21 of the 32 councils. But next May it faces threats from both left and right. Not just Reform UK, but also the Greens under a new populist leader and possibly Jeremy Corbyn's new party. Brenda Dacres is the elected mayor of Lewisham, a South East London Labour stronghold, where the party has 52 of the 54 council seats.
When we're speaking to residents, there'll be the odd person that says that they're interested in reform and what they've got to say. But what we do is make sure we tell them what we're doing as councillors and showing the benefits of having a Labour council.
If the current opinion polls are a true reflection of voting intention, Labour will have to brace itself for losses in London next May.
I think it's almost inevitable on current voting intention figures, it's almost inevitable that Labour will lose control of several boroughs. They're at quite a high watermark at the moment.
Ryan Jude knows he won't be re-elected. He's moving out of London for family reasons and isn't standing again in May. Simon Harris, ITV News, Liverpool.
A murder investigation's been launched into the death of an 85-year-old man who was allegedly assaulted by a fellow patient at a hospital in Hammersmith. Andrew Farmer was injured at Charing Cross Hospital on September the 18th. He died a week later. A 70-year-old man will appear in court later this month, charged with grievous bodily harm. Now, we're going to give you an early warning of very graphic images in our next story. A man violently attacked by a husky in Canary Wharf has called on authorities to do more to ensure dogs are kept on leads. Tony Harrison was mauled by the dog in August and needed an operation in hospital to recover from his injuries. This report from Callum Fairhurst does begin with graphic pictures of those injuries.
Once he's got hold of my arm, he's pulling me to the ground. The guy started screaming in pain.
On his way home to his pub in the Isle of Dogs, Tony was mauled by a husky. He is protecting his dogs Marshall and Buddy.
This is the area where the attack took place. I picked my 2 dogs up to protect them.
Tony's injuries were so severe he had to undergo surgery and was forced to miss days of work.
It looked my way and spotted me and my dogs and just made a bolt for me. And I knew we was in danger. I knew if he got hold of my dogs, he'd rip them to pieces. And that was my only worry, to save my dogs. They're lovely little things, and I'm just so pleased. I was happy to take the injuries to save them.
5 weeks on from the attack, and Tony says he's disappointed by the police reaction. He says locals have told him the husky, which despite signs was off lead at the time of the attack, still sometimes walks in the area without a muzzle and off a lead. Tony wants owners to be held more accountable.
I think the police need to deal with this more urgently, because the potential there is for someone to get seriously hurt.
The Metropolitan Police told us today they are dealing with this proactively, and there have been no reported sightings of the husky off its lead made to them. The attack happened just metres away from this children's play park. Tony believes if a child was the victim, they may have died. One animal behavioural expert says the situation across London is worrying.
Sadly, I don't like to point fingers, but sadly, since the pandemic, I am seeing a lot of dogs in public spaces, a bit disengaged, if you like, from their owners. A&E cases have risen steadily since about 2019.
Tony says he's a dog lover who just wants owners to be responsible and held accountable before someone else gets attacked like him. Callum Fairhurst, ITV News.
OK, still to come on the programme.
Happened literally on this street. I'll explain how and tell you about a change in the weather coming up very soon.
But first, even superstars like Elton John have an icon, and his was Winifred Atwell. Born in Trinidad, the musician and renowned pianist moved to the capital in the 40s, and she went on to become the first black woman to have a #1 single in the UK in 1954. Today, the First Lady of Boogie Woogie received a blue plaque in Mayfair in her memory. Carolyn Sim was there.
In post-war London, this is what people needed to hear. Winifred Atwell's unique style and trademark wink brought joy to millions. And today, another Boogie Woogie star, Jules Holland, stood outside her former home in Mayfair to do this.
It's a great privilege for me to reveal this blue plaque for the wonderful Winifred Atwell. When I was growing up, I used to hear Winifred Atwell. My grandparents used to say, when they first heard me play on their piano, which sounded pretty jangly, hey, you could do that. You could go on the piano. You could go on the television and play the piano, they used to joke. So it's very touching for me to be invited to reveal the plaque, because she was really at the forefront of lots of things and a really great piano player. Elton John's talked to Elton about, he loves her, he's playing. She sort of was an icon for lots of people.
Winifred came to London from Trinidad in the 1940s to study at the Royal Academy of Music. Her classical background soon morphed into ragtime and propelled her to stardom. She was the first black woman to top the UK single charts and the first to open a salon in Brixton.
She was a businesswoman, and she didn't end up in poverty like so many people in the industry did end up. She ended up in Mayfair, had businesses in Brixton and Bond Street. So she was, definitely a trailblazer.
If you could play a duet with her, what would you choose?
I think I would do, she just chimes boogie, starts off with the chimes of Big Ben, dang, 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 and then it sort of goes off into this boogie.
You would have had a good rapport with her if you had met her, you think?
I think we would have got on well. I like to think so, yeah. I'd like to imagine, she would have come on the show and it would have been great. We'd have had her on the hootenanny, it would have gone bananas, I think.
The blue plaque was unveiled at the start of Black History Month for a woman who was more than Queen of the Ivories. She was a trailblazer whose determination and talent inspired millions. Carolyn Sim, ITV News, Mayfair.
Now, it's almost 40 years since the fine Young Cannibals first emerged on the scene with their debut album. The band became one of the biggest names of the 80s, with hits like She Drives Me Crazy and Good Thing, loved by generations. Although they split up in the 90s, lead singer Roland Gift is still performing, and he's got a gig at the London Palladium tomorrow. Before we speak to him, here's a reminder of his unique sound. What a gorgeous version of Suspicious Minds that was. Was Elvis an inspiration to you?
Oh, Elvis is the king, isn't he? Yeah. In fact, the guy that wrote the song, I think it's Mark James, he wrote a letter to us after he'd heard our version, thanking us for doing it, because he really liked it.
Oh, seal of approval.
Yeah,
that must have felt so good. I mean, she drives me crazy. We've all been singing it in the office today. I mean, it's been used in adverts, hasn't it, recently, and some of your other songs, TV and film. That must feel really good, like you're kind of reaching a whole new generation.
Yeah, I mean, like there was the Chanel ad. I mean, that came out of the blue, and you know, to have those singers like Dua Lipa and Jenny from Pink, Blackpink, is it's amazing that those generations are into it. Yeah.
Other perfume is available, of course. Now,
of course,
you're originally from Birmingham, aren't you? But London is home.
From very young, I used to spend my summer holidays in London.
Yeah.
I used to stay in a commune in Grosvenor Avenue, in fact. So that very often my summer holidays and Easters as well were spent in London. So I always knew that I was going to come to London, always.
Did you? And is it true that your first album was made in Camden? Is that right?
The first single, Johnny, was done in Camden Mews. There's a little studio in Camden Mews. And that's where we did that. And then we tried to do it in a bigger studio somewhere else, but actually the one that we'd done in London in Camden was the best version.
And that's it there, isn't it? That's Johnny Come Home, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Johnny Come
Amazing,
Home.
the first one. What do you think the secret to the longevity of your music is? I mean, there's a real love of 80s music at the moment, isn't there? But
yeah, I think that we really wanted to do the music more than anything. We weren't concerned so much about, you know, being seen, or what was really, really important to us was just to do what we really loved. And I think that's why it's lasted, is because it's what we really, really loved.
it was genuine.
Yeah.
London Palladium tomorrow? That's
Tomorrow
right,
night,
just one night?
One night at the London Palladium, yeah. There's a tour next year in May. And in Birmingham on the 12th, we're doing the Symphony Hall.
Why just one night in London? We need more of you.
Well, we'll come back, definitely. Definitely.
Please do, please do. So lovely to see you. Good luck with the tour. And we're all going to keep singing your songs.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Roland. Sally's got the weather now, and she's on a street in Walthamstow where the power is quite literally in the hands of the residents. Sally, explain all.
Well, let me start by asking a question. How far would you go for your neighbour? Maybe you'd walk their dog, take their bins out. Well, a couple who live on this street in Walthamstow slept on their roof outside for 3 weeks in a freezing cold December in the wind and rain to raise money so that houses on this street could buy solar panels. Now, take a look up there. There's 3 houses there, but in total, there's 19. And they documented the whole thing and made a film called Power Station. It's a great watch. Right, let's come over here and meet the 2 brains behind it and characters I may see. First of all, this is Kaz, that beautiful puppy. And Hilary and Dan, it's lovely to meet you. Congratulations. Let's start with the first question. What made you decide to do this? What did you want to achieve?
We just wanted to get solar and also heat, ideally a heat network, dig up the whole street, put solar panels in every house and try and create, you know, a kind of green print of what we want to see across the country, everywhere, at scale and at speed. But we wanted to start on this one street.
And to raise money, Hilary, you decided to go up and sleep on the roof. I mean, the pictures are just extraordinary. What was it like in truth?
It was cold. It was November and December, and it snowed on the last night. But it was beautiful to have this like different perspective and have people supporting us from around the country. And yeah,
you're very brave, and I love the bit where you, recite Shakespeare to her. It's a very beautiful moment. You did some other amazing things as well. You planted 10,000 sunflowers down here. You made a Christmas single to raise money for the school, and there's some comic moments in the film. Like you're obviously exhausted, and you turn round to Dan, you say, "You're the worst filmmaker ever," but you obviously don't mean it because he's brilliant. You're both brilliant, but it was full on, yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. And I suppose we shared the trials and tribulations of just trying to make small change happen and kind of ask the question, why is it so difficult for communities to take this action?
So if you could achieve one thing from this next, what would you love it to be?
Well, the cinema, I mean, the film is coming out in
Yeah.
the cinemas now, and we're hoping that it's going to come into like 100 cinemas and that we can get 50 other streets to become solar power stations, 20 more schools,
Wow.
and some more wind turbines. And also, my next step is I want to make a horror film.
That's the second person in 2 days. Anyway, never mind that. Here's the weather.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello again. Well, I hope you had a lovely day. Looks like this robin did. Quite wintry picture, isn't it? Even though the weather has been so mild. And it's mild again tomorrow. Some bright spells, but quite a bit of cloud. It becomes more unsettled for Friday. And then Friday night into Saturday turns wet and windy. Let's take a look at the pressure chart. You can see what's going on. So this first front comes through tomorrow night, bringing some rain. It may linger a little on Friday morning. Friday's not looking too bad. It's a bit unpredictable. But as we go into Friday night and Saturday, you can see the storm Amy passing through, which will bring stronger winds and further rain as well, and then leaving us on Saturday at the moment with a blustery day and some showers. But like I said, still quite a lot to play for, so definitely keep an eye on the forecast for any changes. Right, the rest of this evening will very calm out here. There'll be some clear spells, bit of cloud overnight. By the end of the night, the chance of some mist and fog around, and those temperatures again, depending on the clear skies, coming down to single figures. So tomorrow morning, another fairly fresh start to the day. Some of that mist and fog might linger a little bit, a bit of a murky start for some. And again, plenty of cloud around tomorrow, but at times some brighter or sunny spells. We've got a bit of a southerly breeze developing, and that will help those temperatures climb up to 20, maybe even a high of 21 tomorrow. So not bad on the temperature front. For the evening, if you are heading out, it's looking mostly dry, but you can see that that front is going to move in, bring some rain overnight, and it might hang around a little bit on Friday morning. It's a bit of uncertainty there. A lot of Friday at the moment not looking too bad. There's possibly still some moisture around, but overnight into Saturday, that's when those winds do pick up, as I said, and leaves us with a bit of an unsettled picture for Saturday. But we will, of course, keep an eye on it all and let you know. That's it from me in this incredible street. Have a super evening, and I'll see you later on. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Finally, if you've walked along the banks of the Thames recently, you might have seen this. It's a campaign by Breast Cancer UK urging people to check their breasts. The so-called street nipples are appearing on pavements around the capital and other cities in the UK with messages about the importance of early detection. The designs were created with a reverse clean graffiti. It's a technique that uses pressure washers rather than paint that will fade naturally over time. And that's it from us. The evening news is next with Charlotte, but for now, from all of us on the London team, have a nice evening. Bye-bye.